All right, what's up everyone? Ease Foreign Auto YouTube channel back again. This time we were doing something different again. 10 things that I don't like about this Corvette. And there is 10 things that I actually dislike about it. So let's get right to it. Starting with number 1. All right, so the first thing I dislike about getting into this Corvette is, as you can see right here, there's no memory button, at least not on the 1LZ. Well, if you're like me, clearly the seat did not move back at all. As you're getting into the car, every single time my knee hits right there, and what you get out of this is an open hatch. Never fails, happens every single time. I'll be driving down the road, I hear something clickety clanking in the back, boom, the hatch is open. I don't know if you ask me, that is one of the most annoying things you could have on a car that's basically $100,000. It could be the way my steering wheel positioning is, it could be the way that my seat is, but no matter what I do, 9 out of 10 times, that button is hit by my knee. Okay, so number 2. Although the door handles do look freaking awesome and sleek and everything, these buttons, as this car is really low mile, they work really, really good. But if the car isn't PPF'd like this car is, if you have a lady or someone that likes to wear jewelry on their fingers, right here, the paint will get wore out and super scratched up. As the car gets older, the buttons stop working very good. And then sometimes you might even find yourself stranded and not being able to get into your car the nice convenient way of door handles. Again, it does look awesome, but function kind of goes out the window as these get older. Number 3, it's going to be debatable. Again, I have owned plenty of Corvettes, C6s and C7s, and I've had 3 C5s. The shifters on these cars, I don't know if it's the design of the transmission, because Porsche has a similar setup and it does not have the same notchiness, but any shifter, MGW, I've tried a ZR1 in my Z06, anything and everything I've tried, can't get the notchiness to go away. I've tried different gear oil, I've tried, you name it, it can't go away. Let me show you. This shifter actually sits pretty dang high, and it's actually showing threads right here. Well, the reason it's showing threads is because the bottom of the shifter, I extended it a little bit, so then that way I have a little bit better leverage. So if you listen to the way this car goes into gear, it feels great and everything, but while you're driving it, this is really stiff and it feels just like this right here. It's going in the gear, and I know it's in gear, but it is just super stiff. Again, maybe the MGW shifter, but a lot of people can agree with me. The shifter, for some reason, super notchy to me. One thing I just really don't like. All right, number 4, the stereo. Although I do love the stereo to sound awesome, but when you put these cars in track mode, they're pretty drony, which is going to be the result of your X-pipe with your long tube headers, and then you throw a cam in the background. There's always something going on. These cars have insane bass. I mean, it sounds like the pretty much top-notch Range Rover stereo system, in my opinion, when it comes to bass. No matter what you do, you can't turn it down. Now, I would play some music, but it's gonna be really hard to hear the bass over the camera, but the bass. I've tried everything, it's still there. It doesn't bother me too much anymore, but that is one thing that I had to work pretty dang hard to get down to the point to where it's like, all right, this isn't gonna drone, kind of like make like a sound wave with the cam and just drive you nuts the whole time you're driving it. Maybe I listen to too much Bosnian folk music, so I might be out of luck on a lot of cars here. Never had this issue in the C6s, but in this car, it does. Again, has an awesome radio, but the bass is just obnoxious. Maybe there's something that I could unplug to make it go away, but the bass, number 4. Number 5, no hooks for a trailer. Normally, a car would have a hook somewhere on it to hook your tow straps to while you have it loaded in your trailer, because you don't feel like driving your super low mileage Corvette to the track that is hours away a lot of times. Well, when you have nice polished weld wheels, that kind of hurts you there, because then you have to run the straps through the wheels. You got to bring rags. You got to do all this complicated stuff. So let me show you what I'm looking at here. There's nowhere to put a strap besides around here or around here. Again, if you put the pieces that go over the tires and put the straps on your trailer right there, again, now you're hitting the front lip. Not ideal. If you look underneath the front, it's all plastic. Not ideal. I'm sure somewhere up here there's a place where you could put in one of the tow hooks from the factory. It's just only going to tie down one side. Now, I am sure that online I could definitely buy something for the car. But I would like to be able to hook the car from the factory to tie it down. So that's just another thing that absolutely drove me nuts about this car, is it's super hard to get into a trailer. Not only that, but you don't have anywhere to tie it down besides making something work. I mean, obviously you can damage your wheels by scratching them, or you have to bring a bunch of rags to put over your wheels so it doesn't get all scratched up. And then still, I really personally don't like strapping over the wheels or through the wheels. So just a small little thing, but again, a big inconvenience when you're trying to load it on a trailer at 1 a.m. All right, number 6. It's not even low, but it's hecka low. So if you look at this car, it's super low to the ground, appearing. If you look at it from the side, you actually have a 2-finger gap, which, you know, if you talk about, you know, flush fitment, it's not really there. It's not like it's flush. You know, the back, of course, has a 2-finger gap. If you look at the arrow of this car, it's basically on the ground. I mean, you got 4 fingers of room below the car, and it's basically touching the ground. While it might not appear low, it is extremely low. And actually the body rides really low too. So that was just another one of those things where it will play more into this video of what I mean by it's not even low, but it is hecka low to the ground. Number 7. I like nice interiors in very expensive cars. The center console, Chevy, what were you guys thinking about this? Seriously. 16,000 miles on this car, and look at the finish here. Look at this. What is going on here? It's like falling apart. While this is replaceable, and they make plenty of suede pieces and everything else, 16,000 miles, the seats look immaculate. The whole interior is just immaculate. There's nothing wrong with it. But this, it's progressively getting worse for no reason, and it seems to be just happening on its own. For some of you that might say, well, you know, it's the sun getting in there, and, well, sorry to tell you, but this thing has, max tint that it probably has on the front is probably 5% there, 5% there, 5% there, and then the windshield, I know for sure, is 35. So, in other words, illegal, 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 and illegal. So as far as the sun, unless the sun is directly above it, aiming just at that piece, we would be seeing errors here and everything else. The light directly beaming into the car. So while it might not appear as dark as it really is, what's the answer to this? I have no idea, but it is very annoying when you try to have basically an immaculate car. Now for convenience of number 8. You walk outside, you go to unlock your car, it doesn't unlock. Your battery is now dead. Let's see where Chevy put the battery on the C7 ZO6. In the trunk. Or in the hatch. Whatever you want to call this thing. Here's the battery. Is it in here? Nope. They made sure to give you a battery tender though. If you want to not destroy this thing, you are going to have to pull that panel off, those 2 Torx bits, pull the plastic covers off of them, pull that cover, take these off without breaking any of the clips, Remove this piece without ripping it, of course, if you take the sides off, because this is, as you see, tucked underneath here. Remove this piece, remove another cover, undo a bolt, and then finally you have access to your battery. I'm trying to make it look like I'm complaining about that, but what if you don't have tools at home? What if you don't know how to do all that at home? Well, it's either you're breaking stuff or you're breaking stuff, because, you know, Shetty clips, plastic and metal, doesn't really mix. You end up with broken tabs and a really rattly Corvette. So, battery location, not ideal. All right, number 9, spark plug location. Now, I wouldn't count this for everyone, but I will count it for people that buy a C7 ZO6 because it has the infamous LT4 engine and the blower that it comes with. Many people like to do modifications on their car. One of the modifications that you have to do to any Corvette when you decide to put it on, you know, the fuel and the better spark and the, you know, smaller pulleys and everything is spark plugs. And spark plug positioning on these cars is, let me show you. Everything would be okay in my world when you're talking about the driver's side. But that does not hold up very great. Oh, also these covers, take them off. I don't need them. Here we go. To do the spark plugs on this car, you have to take the fuse box out, disconnect the bottom of the fuse box, all this headache just to get to 1, 2, 3, 4 spark plugs. Again, while this might not apply to everyone, if you are a gearhead and like to modify your cars, spark plug location, not ideal, and you can only take this fuse box out so many times before it starts to look all banged up. The clips aren't clipping it anymore, there's a broken clip or whatever. So spark plugs on these cars, not ideal for a gearhead unless you are someone that is very meticulous and make sure that you don't want to break any clips or anything. 9 out of 10 times, even if you're taking the car to a shop, no one's going to care for the car as much as you do. Or my shop, I try to do my best. Obviously, mistakes can happen. While this car does not have any broken clips here, I have done the spark plugs plenty of times because the previous owner, we put 2-step in it and he decided, well, let's pretend like it's a Honda and sit on 2-step and foul the spark plugs out 3 times in a row. Again, nothing against anyone here, but again, spark plugs, very hard to get to, and if you ruin this, everyone knows C7 ZO6s, very expensive on parts. You start breaking these clips, you're gonna have a wonked out car with lights on the dash, stuff not working right, and yeah, so spark plugs, not a good location. All right guys, we've made it to number 10. My least favorite thing about this car, the no front camera. If you're watching this, you know who you are. Your name is Adrian, and you were Captain Lip Killer. This guy has went through more lips than I think cars in his whole life on his BMW M5 for this reason exactly. Having no front camera. And I think this is gonna be one of the funnier ones because honestly, before you guys go and tell me, well, you know, the ZR1 came, I don't want to hear it. Your ZR1's front camera from 2019, I believe, looks like dog poop, okay? I don't want you to tell me all about your ZR1, how you spent $250K on it. Shut up, all right? Only the real guys know, me and Adrian, what it costs to go through multiple front lifts. You decided to drive your beautiful car to dinner on a Friday night. You have a crowd of people just staring at you, and you cash out a front lip for no reason, and now you're set back another 1,300 bucks. Seriously, guys, that is one of my least favorite things about this car, is that the front camera didn't seem to be a factory option, I guess you'd say, for a car with a pretty aggressive aero setup from the factory. So it's like every time you have to pull into a parking spot with any sort of, you know, curb in front of you, you have to squeeze your butt cheeks as tight as you can, start sweating, hoping to God that you don't cash out a front lip again for your 10th time in a row, because you've probably already did it. I've been working on this for a while, trying to figure out a solution to this,
But if I had to say one thing that is my least favorite thing about a car that's super cool, that was really expensive even back in the day, and before anyone goes, oh, well, you know, blah, 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 I don't care. This is just my personal opinion on this. And yes, no front camera to save your front end. A lot of people can vibe with that. I know they can. All right, what is up, guys? It's the end of the video, actually. Sorry to break it to you guys. But anyways, those are my top 10 things that I just absolutely loved so much about this Corvette. Actually, I do actually love this car, but those are my top 10 things that me and this car could just not get along with. I mean, who loves opening their trunk or their hatch every single time they get in their car? That's like the best convenience ever. And $10,000 in front lips in a year of owning a car, that is a win-win deal right there. Seriously. It's only 10 grand in front lips. Each one is like 12, 1,300 bucks. Big whoop, right? No, but on a serious note, guys, that is my top things that I just didn't like about the car. Doesn't make it a bad car. I don't mean to be a hater about it. I just thought it'd be an interesting video to make. So if you like what you saw, subscribe. If you don't like it, I don't care what you like or don't like. Just keep watching, and these are just gonna get better from here. So peace out, guys.